Today, we're going to be talking about where, how, and why you should be selling your sealed investments, maybe your singles. We're going to talk about all of that. It's kind of a topic that doesn't really get talked about too much on my channel, so I've been getting a lot of questions in the comment section asking about it. So, starting off, we're going to start with sealed product with sealed gains. The first thing that I would kind of say to everyone is to don't be afraid to take profits, and also don't let anyone make you feel bad if you do. There's kind of a lot of sentiment around, and on my channels as well, I'm saying I'm on a 5 to 10 plus year time frame on a lot of these boxes. So sometimes I think people can feel some pressure to meet that 10 plus year hold. You have to do what's best for your timeline and your schedule and your money. For example, with Fusion Strike, it's running up to almost $500 for a box. If you got like a case, say you got it a year ago and you paid 200 per box, you're at $1,200. You could sell three of those boxes. You'd be at 1,500, so you'd be positive 300 on your investment. And you can let the rest of those boxes just kind of ride. Just let them be, let them play for as long as you want. You've already made money. They're practically free. So if that's how you want to look at it. For me, I would handle it a little differently. If 200 was my entry point and I had six boxes, I would probably sell two, lock in 1,000. You're still down a little, but I say that because I believe that there's definitely more room on those boxes to run, right? So that's kind of more my approach for that. Using a recent example, now not everyone has Fusion Strike at those prices. I understand that, but you can use that. For example, Surging Sparks, similar situation, kind of. You could have got those boxes for 100. Now we're seeing 240 sales, so you can kind of apply it there as well. Also, something to consider with a set like Fusion Strike is a little different from Surging Sparks because Fusion Strike's not going to get reprinted, where Surging Sparks is a lot more likely to get reprinted. Nothing is a guarantee in this market, but it would make sense. So also for the newcomers, and there's a lot of newcomers coming into the hobby right now. I try and I would like my advice would be to use a rule of three when possible. Uh, you know, but so for a booster box, buy three for any product really. One to sell as a quicker flip, one to sell as a more like medium to mid-term flip, depending on your time frame, and then one to hold for a long time. That gives you that 5 to 10 year hold, potentially 10 plus years. This can be hard when you're talking about sets like Fusion or Lost Origin because they're really expensive right now. So you're like buying three boxes of, Fusion Strike at 400, 450, 500. I can't do that. Well, obviously you have to taper that, and that applies to if you can only buy one box, right? But for newer stuff like Pokemon Center ETBs, if you can buy three or four, sealed cases four. If you can buy three, you can kind of let that ride. Or the third one can just be for your collection that you keep forever kind of thing. So that's, if you can do that, I think that makes a lot of sense. Also, something that people don't coming in don't always understand why it is either is that there's kind of a sealed hierarchy that exists. And I know right now everything is crazy, but at some point things will cool down a little bit and this will play more of a factor. I mean, it plays a factor to a certain extent now, but in the past, it was booster boxes were king by far, no questions asked. This generation, with Scarlet and Violet era, Pokemon Center ETBs have proven to outpace booster boxes in most cases. Obviously, not all, but in most cases, that's kind of been the point percentage wise. We're seeing better gains from those. So, obviously, for a specialty set with no booster box, for example, like 151, there's no booster box. It's just the PC ETB is the king product, and it dominates. The Pokemon Center ETB dominates for sure. I've talked about this recently, but I just wanted to reiterate because we're getting more people to the channel, more people coming in. Like I have now put, I did not properly learn from my mistake. I did not properly prioritize Pokemon Center ETBs earlier in the era. Okay, and now it's not a secret. Everyone's onto them, right? So I put Pokemon Center ETBs equivalent with booster boxes in the sets that have booster boxes. They are equal for this era. After that, you sort of go to ETBs, booster bundles, 3 pack blisters, and even single sleeve packs to a certain extent. Um, right now there you'll notice there's a disparity between loose pack and booster box prices. Like Fusion Strike, the loose packs are not going, 36 loose packs are not going to equal the booster box. It's just not going to happen. Okay. This gap will close in time. It gets closer as boxes get more expensive, but there's always going to be a premium for booster boxes over single, like loose packs or sleeved packs. So that's something that you guys should understand and try to prioritize. This is a common trap for new investors falling into thinking 36 loose packs should equal a sealed booster box. That being said, though, sleeve packs can do well. All products can do well, but sleeve packs can do well if for every product, uh, given enough time or just being in a popular enough set. Like Evolving Skies sleeve boosters are at 25 a pack ish right now, which is pretty close to close. It's not super close, but it's close-ish to 36 of those. I think that the math comes out that's 900. So we're definitely under booster box prices, but it's kind of close. So sleeved can do really well there. So just something else to think about. Um, then the big question, but FaZe, where would I sell these boxes? So this is kind of one of the other main things I wanted to talk about. Um, aren't there too many people with pallets just waiting to dump them all at once? I will admit, okay, I mean, this is important to talk about as well. We are at an all-time high for sealed investing, right? There's never been more people trying to invest. A lot of people are just flippers, but there are a few things you need to consider. Firstly, is the casual crowd, they don't really have that many boxes, and they tend to sell quickly after just a few months into the hobby. It's just the reality of what it is. Not everyone is serious. They get in, they maybe make some money, and they're out. I've seen just even in the comment section, tons of people who were in there, they're gone already. It just happens. There's a high turnover rate. So not everyone's super serious about it. Also, people are selling all the time at different price points. It's staggered, right? So not everyone bought at the absolute low and then is all waiting in like you know together like, hey guys, let's all sell at 2000 for Evolving Skies, and they're just waiting for that and they're going to dump the product at once, right? Everyone has different entry points. So if you got Evolving Skies at 100, and yes, some people did, lots of people did, right? It was not always, it was $100 box at some point, okay, in the past. They may have sold at 200, they may have sold at 300, okay, and they doubled or tripled their money. Or and Evolving Skies hasn't only ever gone up. There were downturns even recently. You can go check on the chart. I think it was around 600. It was like 687 ish, and it kind of came down to like lower sixes. So even when there was a slight downturn, maybe they panic sold, someone else bought it and flipped it, right? So people do sell. Okay, I know right now we're not really seeing downturns, so that's kind of something for later. So getting back to the point, if you would want to start selling some of your sealed, or think about it, where would you sell it? Honestly, the best place that I would recommend that I've seen is Facebook Marketplace, because you're going to avoid the fees, the eBay fees, right? 14% on eBay, at least in the US. I've gotten some comments saying like, "There's no eBay fees here." I'm in the US. I that's all I got, right? eBay fees are 14%. So if you don't have eBay fees, that's great. Sell on a platform with no fees, but we don't have I don't have access to that here, so I'm just going off of what we have in the US. 14% is a lot to lose, so I'd try to avoid eBay. Also, Mercari, they just recently changed their seller fee stuff. 10%. It's a 10% seller fee as of I think January. So that's what I would do if you can on Mercari. Now, you'd be surprised how many people are selling boxes, cards, stuff on Mercari. So just giving you another option, right? Less fees. It's not a bad choice, right? Also, card shows are a great place to move sealed product. Some vendors, not all, but they'll pay 100% depending on the product. But you should still be able to sell for more than what you would on eBay. Say you're selling at 90%, right? And you're going to do a cash deal. It really does depend on the set, though, right? And the product. They're not going to just want to buy your Shrouded Fable or Stellar Crown at 100%. They're going to want to probably less, depending on the product. Now, if you have Fusion Strike, Lost Origin, Evolving Skies, they'll probably pay 100% because they're very confident it's going to go up, right? So it depends on the set. But also, like I think there's a ton of Collecticons next year if you're not familiar. Huge card show if you've never been. It really puts things into perspective, like how serious and how many people are into it. You go to those shows, but walk the show floor. Go to a Collecticon, maybe even to a certain extent, like a smaller, more local card show. They have tons of those as well, and go get offers. You know, so have your case or your boxes and saying, "I'm looking to sell these." Uh, Even if you're not serious, even if you're not actually going to sell, shop it around. So you get the experience also of like dealing with people. You get a vibe. It's fun. You get a feel for the market, right? And they will try to get you to sell it for as cheap as possible because they want to resell it and make money, right? So shop around, stand your ground if you have a good product. Like if you're trying to sell an Evolving Skies, don't back down on the price, okay? You know, work some deals with them. Those like Fusion Strike, Lost Origin, stuff like that, Evolving Skies. A lot of that Sword and Shield set, they're not getting printed again, so it's only going up, right? So some SV era stuff, not as much. Like I could also understand if I was a vendor, I wouldn't be wanting to buy Surging right now. Like I said, I'm not buying Surging at 200 plus a box, right? I mean, take that from the perspective of I already got my Surging at 100. Okay, that was my cost basis. Pre-ordered at 100. My seller honored that price, even though a lot of sellers were canceling. So it's prime for a reprint. Okay, that doesn't mean it's going to get a reprint, but it's likely to happen. And I already have some, but I would be, even if I didn't, the risk of a reprint, and once again, a reprint with this market probably not going to tank the price, but we are going to see some price reduction. But I would better put that money into new sets moving forward instead of risking that. With I tried to with my sealed, I try and be smarter and a little safer when it comes to sealed investing. Now, when it comes to singles, singles are a different story. Okay, they're more volatile and less predictable to a certain extent. For me, most of my singles are a quicker flip, and I like to grade them. I like to get PSA 10s, send them out to PSA, wait for those grades to come back. A lot of the time, I take that profit and I move it into like a different card up here for my collection. That's just it's never coming out, right? We got the recently the Japanese CD promo Charizard I picked up in Japan. That's never coming out in my collection, right? PSA 10 copy, so happy with that, right? You could sell some extra copies, other lesser cards, modern, and move those profits over, right? So that's kind of what I like for singles. That being said, for trying to grade, um, or getting more sealed, I think is always good because you never know where the singles are going to go. Once again, in this market, a lot is coming up right now, but they're not going to go up forever. Okay, so just keep that in mind as far as that. But um, there is something to be said for sitting and buying and sitting on singles like you do for sealed, but I don't really do that because the supply is always going up. Packs are being opened every single day. The sealed is where the supply goes down as packs are opened. Singles are just riskier. I'm not really the guy for big advice on that. I choose the safer play of sealed, but like obviously I dabble and I grade and flip, so that's kind of my thing. If you're looking at picking up raw copies potentially to grade, it can be really tough online. Buying from eBay, Mercari, wherever, right? You're gonna want to take a lot of time to look at good photos, maybe ask them for extra photos, and it's in my experience, even when I identify that a card might be gradable, it's like it seems like it's been like 30 to 35%. It could get a 10, even when I take my time. So buying online, but once again, try to go to a card show or your local card store, okay? And you can look at the copies. So that would be my best advice. Also, if you're going to like a Collecticon and you see a vendor who has just tons of PSA 10s and you're looking at their raw copies, maybe that might not be the best place to get because they'd probably grade it, right? Now that's not always guaranteed either because a lot of these people they're high churn and burn, right? They're flipping, so they might have just bought those cards. They haven't had a chance to grade them. So I mean that's a thing too, right? So just keep in mind. But that's kind of my perspective on the singles and sealed kind of thing. Now back to selling at the end of the day. When you choose to sell is up to you, right? Everyone's situation is different. I invest to grow my collection. I invest to collect. That's what I like to say. I want to grow my collection for both modern, sealed, and vintage. That's my main goal. A lot of older cards, like some of the base set PSA 10 stuff, and other vintage cards, are just so expensive and unobtainable for the average person that that's what led me to sealed investing. On top of I was ripping modern product and just like losing thousands of dollars because the odds are always against you, right? You're not going to pull that expensive chase card. Some people do. Some people pull it first pack, and I get it. I don't have that luck. Okay, it's gambling, ripping packs essentially. So I'm not doing the investing for my retirement or to replace my stock portfolio. I just want to be able to enjoy the shiny cardboard from my childhood and relive that nostalgia. Okay, I have came around on sealed collecting, right? More as I've gotten into this. I never thought I really would. Like a lot of these, uh, these bigger PSA 10 cards that I have on the wall behind me, like those are staying in my collection forever. They're not coming out, right? Uh, I've kind of felt that way about some of the boxes as well. I've kind of come around on those. I know that's not what this video was about, but I'm just sealed collecting. I think is nice. I want to kind of have some boxes to display moving forward, just in my collection. So I think that they're nice pieces. So having one of every box could be cool. I just wanted to talk about a little bit of my progression with some of this. So I wasn't sure, but I'm growing attached to them. So if you're new to investing or collecting, moving forward for 2025, I would try to target newer sets at MSRP. That's kind of the play at this point. Uh, Even above MSRP with certain sets, it does depend. Team Rocket's probably going to be a big one that it's going to be a wait and see kind of thing. Also, well, moving into 2025 MSRP, um, get Pokemon Center ETBs if you can. I would say even if you're just a collector, if you can pick them up from a good set, like we recently, we talked about the prismatic drop on January 17th, right? That video did pretty good, went big, right? Even if you don't do that, just try and get some if you can, and you can sell them and make some money and grow your collection. I mean, that's how it all started for me, right? So that would be my advice. Also, watch videos, watch a lot of videos, and get perspectives of other people, not just me. Don't just watch me. I would say get a ton of opinions of everyone in the space, right? And take that and form your own opinion. Take a little bit, maybe take a few things from me, take a few things from this creator, take all this stuff, get on Reddit, get on Instagram, and use that to form your opinion on the market, how you want to approach all of it, right? That's the best piece of advice, right? Yeah, form your own. I invest to collect. You don't have to. Maybe you invest to retire. Maybe you just collect. But at the end of the day, do what makes you happy, and try and enjoy this bull market. Because I find myself, it's kind of scary. There's kind of a lot going on. I'm trying to enjoy it as much as possible. It will not last forever. There will be a downturn. Nobody knows when that is, right? But all markets have downturns. Okay, so we're gonna hit that at some point. It could be a year, could be two, could be less, could be more. Nobody can really say for certain at this point in time. And that when that comes, that's really gonna weed a lot of the casual investors out a little bit more. I do think that that's a pretty strong reality. So, kind of in summary, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was beneficial. I wanted to touch on some stuff. I think we did. Kind of wrote out some stuff, so hopefully it was digestible. But yeah, just a lot of people asking a lot of questions right now. I'm trying to be as helpful as possible, and I really don't talk about selling as much. And for full transparency, a lot of like Sword and Shield, I'm not selling right now. Scarlet and Violet, I'm not selling right now. And also, Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet is most of my sealed investing, right? Those are the eras that have been affordable for me, and so that's where most of my sealed investing is. So there hasn't been a lot of selling. However, I will say, and I've said it in a recent video, I did take some profits on some surging sparks recently. Okay, that actually was in a trade. It worked out really well. Okay, I did not move all of my surging. I just moved some. So keep that in mind. But hopefully this was helpful. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.